Hello? Oh, there we go. That works. Hello. This is the Fursuiter for Beginners panel. I am Tails. This is my partner twin. She is currently as Pascal, a CF Studio suit. One second here. If you're brand new to the fandom or an old soul, we welcome you either way. Hopefully you'll learn something new or at the very least enjoy. So what's a furry? A furry is a person with an interest in anthropomorphic animals or animal characters. Some furries prefer to draw, write, or even make music. There's no one way to be a furry. Community is rather large, spanning over just about all continents. But what about that side of furries I've heard so much about? Not all furries are interested in the same thing. Sure, it exists within the fandom, but it's very uncommon. Most furries refuse to use their suits for any type of weird activities. As more often than not, their suits are very expensive. An average fursuit can cost close to the same as a car. You wouldn't crash your car on purpose, and most suitors refuse to potentially damage their suits. So I want to become a furry, but do I have to have a suit to be considered one? Nope, only a small percentage of furries actually have fursuits. You don't need a fursuit to be part of the fandom. Many furries don't have suits because simply they don't want to wear one, or they can't afford one, or simply they just don't want one, which is perfectly fine. Personally, I do enjoy the aspect of that, but I overheat way too much to even consider putting a head on me. So if you do want to get a fursuit, that's awesome, but where do you start? There are 3 options to obtaining a fursuit. You can either save up money and buy one, you can buckle down and make one, or you can go the more often than not and commission one. We'll go through these 3 options with you in just a moment. We would like to point out, however, no matter the option you choose, be prepared to spend a good amount of money. A fursuit is considered a luxury item and is such often a pretty penny or 2 to obtain one. So the best thing to do is save up patiently and get what you want the first time around. Know what suit you kind of want. There are partials, full suits, plant grade, digigrade, 3/4 suit, or a quad suit. Partials are often heads, hands, tails, sometimes arms, legs, or feet. A full suit, like the one we have up here, is divided on plant grade and digigrade suits. Plant grades being non-padded, very human-like looking legs, and digigrade very exaggerated and adorable. The 3/4 suit usually is just like a full suit, but instead of a full body, either it's a short shirt or pants. They're popular if your character wears certain kinds of clothing. Quad suits are the most expensive and most challenging of the suits, as they involve using stilts on your arms to balance as you walk around on 4 legs. They're not ideal for beginners, but are the most and are more for experienced suitors. There's also many different types of suits. You have the toonie, realistic, semi-realistic, kimono, natural, exaggerated, and many others. Some makers specialize in certain styles, so look around for what kind you want. Buying a suit. So buying a suit is a common option for many furries. It's the middle range for price options. So more often than not, it's a good way to find a good quality suit for a good price, but still be prepared to save up. Often they're not really pre-made suits. So once purchased, often they are pre-made suits. Sorry. So once they're purchased, they're usually shipped out pretty quickly. Another good thing about buying a suit is you get what you see. They're already made, so there's no strange design you have to think about. Keep in mind with the pros that there are also cons. Not a suit you get to pick the design for, so you don't really get to make it truly yours. Since some of these suits are pre-owned and have been used before, many need touch-ups and maintenance, so it's often a good thing to have some basic sewing skills. Like Pascal here, he was a used suit before we got him. Some of the issues he had were like his toe had an issue and he was rather dirty. So if you're planning on buying like a pre-made suit before a convention, make sure you get him ahead of time. So that way, if he shows up as you're leaving, you're gonna not end up being very happy 9 times out of 10. These are also the easiest for people to scam you with. If you find a person with maybe 1 or 2 photos of a suit that you want to buy, a good way to ensure that they actually have the suit still is to ask them a photo with an item of your choice. As an example, have them take a picture with a spoon balanced on the nose. Something weird that they probably wouldn't have on hand anyway. Another good thing to know is where to buy suits. Good places are places like Furbuy, Dealer's Den. Other places can include Facebook, Fursuiting, and some other social media sites. Avoid places like eBay or Amazon, as they're more often than not a bad quality or scams. Not all will be, but it's a safer idea to go with more furry reputable sites. If you decide you want to buy a suit, there are some good questions to ask, such as how is ventilation and vision, if the suit has any known problems, the age, maker, and if it's a clean suit. Making your own suit is the cheapest option by far, but it's also the most difficult one. To make a suit requires time, effort, patience, and most of all, determination. You will not get it right the first time, but that's where the saying, try again, is more often found. Be ready to do things over and over until it's the way you want it. I know that we personally have been working for 8 years in the fursuit making business, and even we're not at the quality we want, but I don't think anybody really is. By making a suit yourself, you can enjoy the huge swell of pride you get when you get compliments. You can also commission your suit. This is the most expensive option for getting a suit, as often the makers charge you for more than a pre-made suit, since it's made specifically to you. This is often one of the choices where you'll need a quality, full turnaround reference. Not shaded is better, and it's easier for the maker to figure out the colors. The easiest option to getting a suit that is exactly to your specifications is to make up your body size and type. However, due to this being the case, it's also one of the options that will take the longest, so you'll have to be willing to wait. Sometimes you'll be put on a queue, which can take upwards to several months to even years, so keeping in contact with a maker is a must. But be sure to make your conversations professional and don't harass your maker to work faster. Art does take time after all. This is also a great way to support an artist, well-known or new. So you got your suit, and it's on the way. When it arrives, what will you do? You're excited. You have every right to be. But to make sure to contain that excitement for just a little bit longer. I know. We have to keep some things in mind first. Is your box in good shape? If it's beat up, your suit may need a little extra attention when being checked over. Sometimes the post is just not nice with the boxes. Open your box with care. Use scissors or a box cutter, not a kitchen knife. Not only is it unsafe to you, but you ruin the risk of stabbing your brand new suit. Wow, tongue twister. The box is open. Time to check your suit. Make sure not to keep your rose-tinted glasses on, however. It's good to make a point to look at other suits as a reviewer, as sometimes a potential customer may come and ask you about your suit experience. Is the suit packed nicely? Is it being squished at all? Take time to look at all the pieces individually. Are there any popped seams or warped parts? Make sure that everything fits. One thing to know about your suit is the start. Best time to have a friend help when suiting up, especially for the first time. Always use proper underclothing, a balaclava, or some Under Armour. Sweat-catching sport clothes are good options too. A partial suit can be worn with plain clothing and is often the better option for the summer season. When putting on your suit, as much as it is quicker and easier to yank on the parts, please don't. You run the risk of popping seams or ruining parts. Same follows with being around children or allowing small kids to try on your suit. One wrong pull and your ear can come off. Now that you got your suit on, what's the first thing you should do? No tapping. Look at your suit from a different angle, using a mirror or having your friend record or take photos. You can find out a lot about your suit during this time. Different angles will provide different expressions and different looks. Use these to express yourself. Take some nice photos, go outside and play in the driveway for a bit, and get ready to give your maker a review. Now that you have your suit, it's time to learn how to act and move well in. Be over-exaggerated, use big, dramatic motions, and be silly, but also respectful of your surroundings. Always keep moving. Excuse you. Always keep moving. Nothing is creepier than a fursuiter that just kind of stands and stares. Showing off poses and match personality of your suit. If your character is manly and macho, show off your guns. If your character is cute and feminine, tilt your head down and wiggle a little. There's so much you can do. Learn what works best for you. Good things to try are doing silly walks, giant turns of the head, and generally acting like a cartoon. After all, your character's art, and art can be whatever you want. Actions to avoid are pretty simple. Don't be lewd, rude, or unpleasant. If you make a child cry, and trust us, it's gonna happen, don't try to make the child happy. Don't approach them and don't interact with them. Simply move away and try to give them their personal space. When around children, be ready for the inevitable tail tugging, ear yanking, nose grabbing, and otherwise eyeball poking. Best things to do are just avoid being on the ground. Being on the ground near kids is just asking for trouble. Stay standing, gently holding your hands over where they keep grabbing or poking. You can use an act to make it seem less strange, but some kids just don't get the hint. If they grab you or your tail and start to yank, don't let it continue. Get after them and either take your tail back on your own hands or do a full body turn. Kids can and will pull tails right off of you. Kids are also well known for trying to figure out your gender by less than socially appropriate means. Try not to let this happen. It happens sometimes, but holding your hands in front of you if you keep poking around and acting unhappy is usually a pretty good way to get them to stop. If all else, it's up to your handler to assist in these kinds of situations. And speaking of them, a handler is almost always a must. Even experienced suitors will often have a handler to take care of water, ID carrying, direction, and general care in house. So your handler. Your connection to your normality is your handler. They are your eyes, ears, and general caretaker. Be sure to treat them well, and they're here to help and show your appreciation. Know some simple signs to communicate with your handler. Some suitors choose to be silent in suit, and it's helpful for everybody involved. Some of the signs that we commonly use are signs for water, hot, question, emergency, when you're taking photos, camera, and what's the last one? All right then. These are simple signs that are commonly used and have been a staple of suiting for a long time. Your handler should also know how to assist you in putting on and taking off your suit, so it's best to have somebody you trust a lot. They'll also be the ones to assist you in getting as much water, needed water while suiting. We cannot stress enough how much you need to have water while suiting for any period of time. Oftentimes, your handler should know the basic information about your suit. The maker, age, species, and names are common. Oftentimes, most folks will try to ask for your suitor, you need to know when to step in. As a handler, you must be able and ready to step in at any time. If your suitor's in trouble and the signals, you need to be ready to diffuse any situation. Remove the suitor to a safe location where they can take off the head in comfort. For basic rules and etiquette, never approach a suitor from behind because they cannot see you. Always ask before you hug. Trust me when I say not all suitors are okay with hugs. A fursuit is not consent. Be mindful that there is, in fact, a human in that costume, and be mindful of where you touch. Please do not scritch or scratch the fur. It's not like an actual animal when you scratch the skin as an affectionate manner, but instead you're matting and pulling out the fur. Please don't jump or tackle on a suitor. This should be common sense, but just don't. When a suitor needs to go, please don't hold them back. You may want to stay and play with them a little longer, but they have things to do too. Once they move along, it's best to simply let them. Less talked about, but ask before you take photos. Most suitors don't mind and actually encourage it, but if they're in a hurry or in the middle of an emergency, a photo is not something they might want to stop for. When suiting, please be respectful of other people's property and personal space. Don't take things without asking or get up in people's space if they don't want you to. If you're in a suit, always respect authority. If you get asked to leave an area, please don't throw a fit, don't fuss. Simply just do it. It's not overly common that they're asking you for a reason. Sometimes it's due to a rule or for security, but causing a stink and a fuss will only make people in charge more sour towards furries. Other good tips for suiting out and about are, always know when you're suiting and the rules of the areas. Public spaces like parks and downtown areas are usually full of people, but a lot of privately owned places, such as stores, malls, have strict rules on face covering masks. Always call ahead if you plan on going to one of those places. Understand and read crowds and people's reactions. Some people will love to come up with you, but not all, so please be mindful of them. Don't approach people who are uncomfortable with you. So you enjoyed a long, fun excursion out and about. You've gone home and peeled off your suit. It's a gross analogy, but it's sadly accurate. So what do? Let it air dry and go about your day? Wash it? What to do? The best thing to do is disinfect. The following says, when you sweat, disinfect. The sweat will build up and leave it as it will shorten the life of your suit, causing some serious stink and even worse case scenarios, mold. While washing your suit is a good idea, it's also good to keep in mind how often you wash it. Always consult the maker with how to wash your suit. Keep in mind that the suit can ruin some eyes and heat will melt fur. If you don't plan to scrub your suit from top to bottom, a disinfectant spray and some fans are pretty amazing. Spray Liberty? Yeah, that word. Prop the suit open as best as you can or hang it up to allow the spray to do its work. Once it's aired out, brush that sucker like it's no tomorrow. There are multiple ways to brush a suit. Some people brush them backwards to avoid pulling out the fur, others brush it forward to clear out the mats. It's up to you how you brush it, but by gosh darn, brush it. Always brush out the armpits, neck areas, back of the knees, and the crotch areas. Any place that rubs, it's a good idea to brush, or you'll end up with matted fur. Not only does it look better to be brushed, but it also helps your suit stay nice longer. Spraying the insides of the head is also a good idea, but please be mindful of the eyes and allow it to vent out properly. Once disinfected and brushed, the body and head can be Febrezed and gone over gently with some freshening sprays to keep it smelling nicer, but it's up to personal choice. For hand, feet, and paws, usually the same applies for disinfecting, but be mindful that there's usually a larger buildup of sweat and dirt as they touch most stuff. V-paws walk on the ground collecting dirt and gunk, so clean them thoroughly. And paws too, since everything you touch, everyone else has touched. Germs are real things, people. Sick furries are sad furries. Try to avoid suiting when sick. It may come as a common sense, but sometimes it's good to hear it again. Sneezing on the inside of your suit head is kind of gross. Other things to know about aftercare. Know that your suit will not last forever. The better you take care of them, the longer they'll last. So you have a brand new suit for a year, or for 8 or 9, depending on how well you take care of it. Brushes are your best friends, but understand that when you need it, it's a good idea to hand run over the fur works. Stains are also a problem, but it isn't the end of your suit. Spot cleaning stained or particularly messy spots is the better option. When dealing with children, make sure to wash your suit thoroughly after, as children are sadly walking, touching of dirty and germy. If washing in a tub/washer, avoid heat and damaging chemicals. Many people online or at conventions sell suit soaps or cleaners. Be sure to test them before using them on the full suit, however. Most importantly, cleaning your suit is super important, but cleaning yourself is even more so. You've been moshing around in a fur body for a long enough time. Treat yourself to a shower or bath. It'll make you and your suit happy. Now, the things to remember are always do your homework before you buy or commission a suit. Be aware of your limits and your suit limits. Always keep moving in a suit and keep those expressions going. Children are both your biggest fans and your worst nightmares. Please be aware of both. Brush and clean your suit. Clean yourself too. Respect your handler and know how to communicate with them. Have fun. Being a furry is all about fun. The community and the conventions and the overall love in the fandom is amazing, and we're happy to have you as a part of it. Stay awesome. At this point, we're open to anyone who may have questions. Feel free to ask about anything we have missed or not covered. Twin and I will do our best to answer them. You folks are also encouraged to come up with some good up close and personal look at Pascal and see how he was built and interact with them. As makers, we're happy to offer the tips. Anybody got some questions? Anybody? Yes.
Where do you get materials like the fur?
Materials, one of the most common places we go to is for heads and eyes and stuff like that. We usually go to Dream Vision. And then for fur, what's the most common place we've been going to?
There's a lot of places that you can actually get fur from. A lot of them are just online. Usually Distinctive is a pretty good place, otherwise fabric.com, and it really don't depends on where you prefer. I would avoid, however, Etsy and eBay places for fur because it's nasty. It's nasty.
What's up, Sterling?
Distinctive shut down.
Oh, Distinctive shut down. That's why we never got our fur.
It's on Fursuit Supplies.
Fursuitsupplies.com. That'll be your best friend. Any other questions? Yes.
So I have a resin-based head where one of the teeth came out. Gorilla Glue is doing it. What is a good glue for resin?
I've heard epoxy's pretty good. Honestly, that stuff will not stop you.
I use 36000 19 pages.
Plumbers epoxy.
Well,
Plumbers epoxy is just a plumbing section.
it's Flex Seal.
That's a lot of damage.
Any other questions? Yes.
How do you prefer to store your suits? Like, do you get big bin for it, or is there?
Usually for us, we found the easiest way to travel with a suit is to get its own bin, or sometimes even its own suitcase for easier travel and easier storage. You probably don't want to stuff your head into the bin or the suitcase as well, just because most of them are either foam or resin, and it'll ruin or damage your head. Yes.
So when shading down, let's say, the head or the hands, if you start to see little holes, is that like an indication of what the quality of fur that you bought?
Usually you can tell with the quality of the fur. The thicker the fur, the better. Because I know a lot of places like Joann's are going to have fur, but it's very thin and very sad. If you can just brush over it backwards and see the holes, that's not good fur. So if you're shaving and you see the holes, it depends on how close you are. If you're shaving up closer, like with Pascal's face here, you can sort of see the holes if you get up and close, but from a distance you can't.
So did you shave it with like no head on the razor? So you did that short?
With Harvey's head back in the dealer's room, yes, I've definitely done it without a guard on it.
I'm going to keep awkwardly dancing until another question pops up. I'm very awkward on stage. Yes, how can I help you?
So, when looking into it, I'm pretty sure. So, Joann's is usually the best place to go for the foam, though.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Just not fur.
Okay.
Just start to work and see if anybody asks something. Yes, it works.
What materials do you prefer to do for teeth and claws and things?
For teeth and claws, we typically go to Distinctive for that type of thing. Usually you want like resin claws and stuff like that. Dream Vision. I don't know what I said. But yeah, Dream Vision is probably the best way to go for any of like the extra supplies for suits. I know they have some stuff for like lighting up eyes and really nice claws and just your typical thing. Yes, Sterling.
Your iconic knights here selling really awesome supplies too.
That is true. Definitely check them out. They're super cool. I don't know. Don't look at me, man. You're the entertainer. You entertain. It worked. I'm just the handler. I can't do anything. Yes.
How hot will the first one get?
Oh, very, very hot.
Have you ever been stuck in a car during summer that's light black or has tinted windows and you're stuck in there for about 20 to 30 minutes? That's just putting it on.
Which is why it's super important to water your furries. Yes, Sterling.
They do have cooling vests and whatnot that you can get to make it more tolerable.
That is true.
Sparky can do on, I believe on YouTube actually made a review on an ice vest that I highly suggest. I would definitely check it out.
Yeah, no, those ice vests are really nice.
Also camel packs, those little like water packs that you can put on the inside and run it through.
Oh yeah.
Well, isn't there something also where it like literally you can run water? It's like the most high-tech thing ever, and I don't see many suits with it, but it literally like circulates water cooling, something like that. But it literally like circulates water through like, the vest or something.
That's so nifty. Technology is amazing.
But it's also like basically buying another suit, I think.
Yeah.
So it's, like,
Pros and cons of it. We probably got a panel for a little too long. I think I got nervous there. Yes.
In your guys' experience, what kind of, like, for reinforcing the eyes, do you guys prefer using foamies or, like, the kind of plastic hard stuff?
Usually, I know that the eyes that I've used recently, we've started getting the plastic 3D tuning eyes, and I've adored those ever since because they actually hold the mesh in place better, and they're less likely to get punctured if you back your head by accident.
Yes.
For the mesh on the eyes, what is, in your opinion, the best one to use to see more clearly?
Usually Buckram's the best option. I know from personal experience, coloring the back black and then doing the color on the front is going to help you see a buttload better than just doing plain white Buckram. It's just personal experience. It also helps them see into you better, but you can see 100% better. Like I can see most of the individual people in the front row here.
Yes.
What do you recommend as far as like the base of the footballs that become more durable and still like traction won't be too slippery?
Well, I know there's a couple different versions. I can't quite remember what the material is called, but I have it on the bottom of Speak here. It's like a rubber plastic mat. You can usually find it in most hardware stores or in the sports sections. You can usually get them in a big roll.
EVA foam? No. Yeah?
Close to that.
It's close to that.
Yeah, it's like those like foamy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're easier because they're made for kids.
Yeah.
Kids are bouncy.
Yes. Most heads are particularly durable. I know a majority of them are foam, so no matter how many times you knock them around, they're usually very sturdy. Not that I would recommend knocking around a head constantly, but like they can take a considerable amount of abuse before they have to be like checked out. That's rude. Like, when it comes to heads, the most thing you have to be concerned about is the lower jaw right here, because that can be easily pulled off. when you pull the head down. Another point of concern is like the bridge of the nose and the eyes themselves. Other than that, they're pretty sturdy. If you have like big ears like Sterling has, I recommend not using those as a way of pulling it down because you're going to more likely than not end up ripping part of the ear.
It's good to ask if like whoever made it, it's good to ask them where you should pull it down at. Because some of them will make the neck stronger, some of them make the neck stronger.
That is very true.
This one.
I could throw you my head across this one.
No head throwing.
Aggressive head tossing is not recommended.
I know my show is very
You probably could. You shouldn't, but you could. Yes, Sterling?
Beaks are sensitive, don't bath them.
This is to another thing to keep in mind, especially with Sterling's beak, I know a lot of the pan cans are built this way, but the beaks are actually very soft, believe it or not. Don't hit them, they will crumple, and they'll be very sad, because that is a very expensive beak.
Yes.
For resin-based pens, please don't have us on the nose. It actually hits my real nose. Please don't have resin-based suitors on the nose.
Resin suits are so beautiful, and I love them to pieces, just don't abuse them.
Please.
Please don't, they hurt. I've worn one, they hurt.
And they can break really easily. It scares me so bad when people come and like loop my nose and things.
Just don't move anybody unless they know you're going to do it.
Right.
Yes, delicate resin.
Sterling, do you want to come up here? I feel like you have stuff to add. Sterling's been suiting for more than me. Honestly, anybody has. I'm more of a handler than a suitor. Do you want me to help you get up the steps? Yeah, okay, let me handle you. Entertain. You're a fursuiter, that's what you do!
No, don't. No.
What are you doing? I'll leave you alone for like 6 seconds, gosh. No.
You hit that dab too hard. Oh, God.
I'm gonna need a party after this. I don't know what you're doing, but it's adorable, so I'm okay. Oh, that's cute. Also, be aware, since there's a bunch of fursuiters around here, look out for long tails. It's more often than not a really big issue. I remember when I was in my partial, I kept stomping on somebody's tail because I can't see where I'm going. I'm sorry, your tail's fine.
But also, as a suitor with a long tail, please be considerate of the con space. Carry your tail, don't just drag it. It's rude. It gets stomped on.
It happens.
We have a friend with their new suitor, and they made their suit. They came out good. It was the first suit they ever made. But they gave themselves an extremely long tail. They were at MFF and dragging the tail on the sky bridge to the point where our handler ended up just holding their tail the entire time.
Oh no. That's so bad.
Well, another question, then, what would be the best? I've seen a couple people have different mechanisms for holding the tail, like putting, like a string of fishing wires and things so that even in sea you can just like grab it. What would be the best way to carry around a large tail instead of just having your hands always thrown around it?
Here, I'm gonna be between the suits so that way they can talk.
I'm making a sling for my tail, so it's like a fanny pack kind of thing, like a crossbody, and then it just kind of loops in there and you got your hands free. So yeah, feel free to make those.
Usually I don't give myself a long enough tail to step on because I will.
Yeah, but when you have one, you just kind of like pace around in a circle until you grab it.
The best thing to do, especially when you're getting on an elevator with a long tail, just do a 360. Your tail will follow you. It'll be perfect. It won't get caught in the door.
That sounds like super rare.
Wrap it on the
Like,
It's like a little snake.
Angry ferrets.
Can I help you? I don't believe you. You're mean to me. Yeah, I can believe that. Anybody else got some questions? Or else we're just gonna banter up here for the next however long we have this.
I guess if you got a really long tail, be careful not to bat people with it, because a friend of ours had a really long tail and he was swinging it around in the room today and he knocked over his head.
Oh no, that just sounds bad.
Be aware of your surroundings.
Yes, being aware of your, and there's also one of the things that a handler should be aware of as well, because most fursuit heads have not the best field of vision, so you kind of gotta like wrangle your fursuiter. If you have two, it's even, no, come back here. Get back here. No, bad boy, bad, I won't give you any more soda. What? No! Guys are jerks. I won't be a friend anymore. I was gonna like hit your butt, but my shoes are dirty and I don't want to ruin your suit. Yes.
I personally already know this, but it's something that's usually talked about as something like this. What do you do if you find a fursuiter who's unconscious?
Best thing to do is check for a response first. If they don't respond, then you should try to get the head off as gently as you can, or if that's not possible at the time, then you just go right for the emergency contacts.
Good. Yes.
Along the lines of that, I've heard if something like that happens, the ambulance, they actually cut open your suit.
Yes, they do.
They don't care about seams.
They don't.
This is why you always test your limits, but not too much.
Like I can stay in a full suit for probably about an hour maybe before I can't do it anymore. These guys over here are champs. She can do it for 3. What you got? What you got on?
About 5.
Dang. Ooh. For the record, that one's been doing, like they've both been doing it for an incredibly long time and I just started, so it's like, whoo! I can't do nothing. Oh yeah. Sterling's dying over here. Just, oh, yep, there you go.
Breaking the magic.
Ruin the magic, guys.
Oh yeah, so speaking of that, whenever it comes to either your health or breaking the magic,
Just break the magic.
just break the magic. You're fine! You just did that out of hatred for me.
That was
Also, these balaclavas, like, I never used to have to wear one because my hair was super short, but, like, best $15 from Lemongrad I've ever spent. Like, just do it.
Just do
You
it.
can make them, just get one.
You can get them at Sporting Goods too.
Oh, really?
They're fairly cheap, yeah.
I know the Under Armour store, they have an Under Armour outlet, and sometimes they sell them there, too.
Not
But,
as cool. You can get some very thin ones for like $5 at Walmart.
oh, that's nice to know.
Why do we have this
I don't know. I've been wondering where this has been all my fursuiting life, so. Yes.
one thing I learned very quickly that's really nice for like meat pods or recipe packs for storage.
Oh.
Like you can buy just a bag of those like moisture absorbing recipe packs on Amazon for like $11.
Yeah.
They make your meat pods not smell as bad. At
It-
least they don't make mine
no,
smell really bad.
It helps.
It helps a lot for my smell, for that kind of thing, for storage and meat pods.
Like, I don't know if that's kind of
I don't know if that's, is that a bad thing?
No, I can't imagine why it would. It just dehydrates. It just dehydrates and takes all the moisture out of the air.
It helps.
There's no chemicals really in it. It can't really do much to the fur.
No, it really helps because I would never took my feet off at MFF this is my first time suiting, so I just never took feet off because I was in and out of the suit constantly.
Yeah.
So I left the feet on. And she had the Jessica packets for her suit, she's grooming with me. So So we put them in my feet, and it actually works really well to begin with. It's now after drying them out.
What shoes do you guys build your feet on? What's kind of the best suit or the best materials to build them off of?
Well, I know for a fact that Sterling's and Pascal's feet are built off of memory foam shoes, which are, I can't even tell you how nice. But,
yeah, they're great. I could wear these all day, no problem.
But I know that personally I've built Harvey and Ellie's feet both on foam, just foam bases. So you're basically just wearing a giant slipper.
I like Crocs too. As weird as it sounds, they're ugly as sin, but once you have like these cute little toe beans on them, no one's gonna see. And they're really comfortable and they're really light, so I vote for Crocs.
You can sit in quiet with Crocs.
Yeah. No one needs to know. Don't ask, don't tell.
I don't know. When is this panel?
709.
Yes.
What building have you built? I've seen it. I had a friend who built one that they use just like foam to build like the base of their own head. What is like, is there alternatives to that? Because I know there's the helmets. I've seen people use really helmets, the batting helmets. I've seen people use martial arts helmets in that before.
I know that there's a couple. There's the what some people do and what we do with our heads is we actually build our own balaclavas and then we build off of it to get some nice shapes. I really like that one. You can take it away with the rest.
Well, I know that I think the company you're actually asking about is Big Cats 4 Cats, I believe, that does the martial arts. Is it? Yeah, it's that one. I just know it had cats in the name because I like cats. But yeah, they do build off of the martial arts helmets, which I think is an awesome idea because, holy cow, you're just fitted right in there.
They're actually really helpful.
Right? I was gonna say, I think otherwise like
And
baseball
they're easy to
hats,
clean,
stuff like
so-
that.
I
That's true.
was in martial arts for years, so I dealt with them.
Same.
So.
Man, I never got to wear a helmet.
I did. Sparring, man, that's the good stuff. It was a good day when we had the helmet bag out. Like, we knew we were going to beat each other senseless.
Does anybody know how long this panel is for? Because what?
You have
8?
an hour.
Oh no! I was underprepared for this. It was hilarious because like initially we were sitting at our table because we're one of the dealers and we're flipping through it. It's like, oh, I wonder what's on here. All of a sudden she breezes through it and it's like twin and tails. Oh no! Thankfully we had our script from another panel. Did not prepare. Yeah, no, you just gotta
Yes.
do a little dance.
Do you have any more advice for like learning like act and suit?
Find a full body mirror and go crazy, first of all. That's one of my favorites. If you don't have a full body mirror, set up a record, like a camera to record from a distance. Just do some goofy little things. Like Pascal, I do the shake the butt thing. Harvey, I do like this little wibble thing.
Learn some silly dances. Fortnite dances. Just floss. Just
What
learn
is
it.
wrong with you?
Hey, it works.
I mean,
People
yeah,
like
but
it.
still. Yes.
Or I use the Animal Crossing method, where it's like no matter what, like your character's always like
Oh
The
yeah.
Animal Crossing thing. Play a lot of Animal Crossing.
I usually do like a
Make me
Street
those
Fighter
balls.
type of thing where it's like you're ready to attack at any moment.
Yeah, Animal Crossing is nicer.
Yeah, it's true.
No, but it's actually, I love looking at video game characters and just their idle animations.
Actually,
That's actually like a really good thing for me.
Oh yeah. I remember when I got my first suit, walking was incredibly difficult. I didn't know how hard it was to walk in a fursuit until like I had these gigantic paddings on my legs, on both sides of my legs, and I'm just kind of like, I just had to spread my legs out as far as I could and just like aggressively waddle towards people. It was insane. It works, but it's insane.
It's also really weird when you've been suiting for a super long time and you get used to walking with the padding on and then you get out of suit and then you have to walk somewhere. Oh my gosh, I used to get teased for waddling down the hall.
Yes, you do.
I like my padding.
I got padding right here. It's different than here.
God, I love your padding.
Also, both of our suits were made by the same company, CF. They're opening for slots in July for mini partials and bodysuits. They're really good stuff. Very expensive, but very good quality.
Yeah, are they professionals first?
They are professional
Yeah.
fursuit makers. Like, they do some awesome stuff. Very much worth it.
What are professional fursuits companies that you would recommend?
CF, obviously. I'm not biased or anything. I also really like, they were Autumn Fallings, but now there's something else. They're actually guest of honor here, so if you want to talk to them, I'm sure they'd be willing.
Multicolored bark.
Multicolored bark, thank you. I idolized their cats. Like, one day, goals. Where else am I thinking? Oh, Draconic Knight, duh. They actually have some beautiful pre-mates out there, some beautiful tigers, and a great case hound. Just, so detailed. And their sculpts, they also have resin bases, so if you wanted to make your own, you could paint over it, you could fur it, and they have a beautiful shape already. So you don't even need to really pad up more. You just have to have ears, eyes, mouth, that stuff, and you can make your own kid. I'm trying to think. I know there's a few more on my list.
You got some?
Beast Cub was one of my favorites when I was really young and first got into the fandom. Their realistic suits were out of the world when I first saw them, and they started doing the quad suits, which gained incredible popularity, which I think I saw one in here earlier. I can't quite tell you where you are now. But otherwise, otherwise, Lemon Brat's a good one. I love
Polypaws.
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 Oh, there we go. Yeah.
I think it's like Hawaii.
Hawaii. Oh.
Yes.
Not gonna lie, Dream Suit is a K-line suit.
Less K-line.
Also, Fur Zombie, if you get around to checking them out. I like them. I know the owner of them personally. They're very good friends, and they are very nice people.
Would Miss Monster be on one of those?
Yeah, Miss Monster.
Yeah.
Or Monster Cat, not Miss Monster. Miss Monster does the sculpting.
Oh, okay,
Monster
Monster
Cat
Cat.
does
That
stretchies.
is the most confusing name to me because that's also on the record label.
Oh. Yeah, they also make fursuit cleaning sprays that are very nice too.
I feel like another hour.
We have 45 minutes.
I know. I'm like, oh god.
I want Taco Bell. Can we go to Taco Bell?
We can go to Taco Bell
Let's
after
go to
this.
Taco Bell.
Hey, oh, by the way, we all have tables, so if you guys ever have any like extra questions or you just want to chat with us,
I'm
you can
also
always go there.
staff, so
She's
you
also
know.
staff, so yeah. Now you know somebody in staff, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm usually locked into the charity auction table, so like, yeah, feel free to bug me. I'm so lonely.
Yeah, that is a bold-faced lie.
It's not like you have friends or anything, duh.
I don't have friends. I have waifus.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Can't even argue that.
I also trade pins. If you guys do pin trading, that's cool.
This is just gonna be casual talk
Pins.
now.
Give me pins or give me death.
We're your bros, we're just your bros in light now. I just like being up here, it makes me feel tall. I'm very short. Very short.
If I put Sterling on, you're even shorter.
How tall are you?
Short.
I'm 5 feet.
No, it's not.
It's not. Yes.
Do you also, as far as with, because of the taller ears with height, both doorways and other fixtures, sometimes in like hotels out fixtures?
Yes, I actually have a hanging fixture in my bedroom. That's always fun.
Pascal can't get into his own bathroom. That's an issue.
The
You gotta like
height,
side
that's a
and
wide thing.
yeah. Either way, you gotta be like
You gotta
concerned
figure-
about like
yeah.
your immediate bubble in a fursuit.
Thick
Like
thighs,
this buck
save
right here would
lives.
probably have some height door issues. I watched a caribou try to come into the dealer's den, and it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. I didn't mean to laugh, but I laughed really hard. Yeah, they had the big antlers. They had to like duck down and like really get in there.
Which is, again is why a handler is typically nice.
And
Just tell
also
them to
if you-
squat.
Also, if you do horns, try to make them out of plush. That way, if you do knock them, it's not like the end of the world. Like I believe yours is plush. And that way they can mush.
It reduces chipping and
Or you can also make removable antlers. I know if you do heavy duty magnets, they can pop right off. Like actually Beast Cub just made this really cool Van Gogh saber-toothed cat that I really want. And the ear just comes right off. So like, I mean heavy magnets, perfect. Yeah.
I'm just imagining somebody just
Well, it's a Van Gogh themed
I
Starry
know,
Night
but
saber-tooth tiger. Of
still.
course the ear comes off.
This is something I didn't expect to hear
And it's
ever.
really funny because when they put it back on, it just makes a click.
Oh my god, that's weird.
Pascal left you.
Like, no.
You like glowing? It's like you're blue and green. You're a party.
UV reactive fur is also a thing, guys. So like if you want a nice, cool rave fursuit, like find that UV fur and it'll light up like the 4th of July under a black light.
When it comes to the rave things, I know some people do this, and this is just advice for people who, because I haven't even tried it yet. For people who like to do like multi-talented things, if you do something out of suit, like a staff or those boy things or anything like that, don't try it in public in suit until you've done it a lot of practice. I do staff. I really want to learn to do it in suit, but you gotta figure out, you gotta be aware.
But you also understand that there's limitations
Yes,
there.
you have to treat the thing like it's an extension of your body. It's like if you have a prop set of wings that extend to something else too, you have to be treated like a third party. You have to get used to it before you move on to that kind of stuff in public, especially when you're dealing with mind type of staff, because that's a literal weapon and you can really hurt somebody with that.
Well, I mean, even poi, if they get going, like I've clocked my little brothers with them, and it's funny, but you know, it still hurts.
It's fun. It's not.
It's funny.
It's funny for you, not for them.
It's funny for me because they go,
See,
Fire point.
my older
soon.
brother,
I'm getting there.
my older brother took my staff when I was still in Taekwondo, and it's my staff. It's like my recreational, my show staff that like reflects all these different lights. Is bent because my brother hit one of his friends with it. This is an older brother, mind you.
Yeah, that's older siblings for you though.
You had a question?
For like adding the pole like onto like a bait thing or leg, how do you carve that? Like proper shape?
Actually, there's these little scissors that you can get. They're kind of like scissors, and it's just like a blade.
Scissors that are kind of like scissors.
Little blades that you can get that look kind of like scissors, and you just pinch them, and it like cuts.
You need
But
that.
it's like actual like blades on each side, and you just kind of sit there and trim it. You can get a beautiful shape with them. Yeah. Yeah. As long as they're sharp enough to cut through that foam, because sometimes depending on what foam you use, those electric knives won't get there. But if you have a really sharp one, it'll go through like butter. Oh, I'm done.
Dancing. Yeah, you're done.
I want Taco Bell.
I do too. You got like another like 40 minutes of standing up
Let's
here
just go
looking
to
like.
Taco Bell.
Yeah, let's just all. You know what? Let's all just go to Taco Bell. Sounds delicious. What?
Party at Taco Bell.
Hey.
Taco flavored kisses for my honey. Yes.
Probably when the commission is going to probably determine what you want to do. Because if you want to do like dancing and stuff, you need to bring in more range of motion.
Yeah,
Yes.
I ain't dancing in this. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Also, when you're dancing, be aware that, like, again, these things get very, very hot. One of the things that most people really like to do are, again, cooling vests. Also, if you're planning on doing it, I recommend putting a fan in your head. That'll help cool down your face. Your face
Usually
hole.
muzzles have enough room.
Yeah.
Like, I could easily put a fan here. I don't because I'm a lazy person, but you can easily do it.
I'll say another good trick that I've learned from just experience is it sounds a little weird when you do it, but when you put on your head and you find that it's just getting a little bit too warm, open up the mouth a little bit and just blow out. It creates a nice little turnaround gust of cold air that comes and hits you in the face. It's a blessing.
This is fun.
Yeah.
You enjoy.
I'm enjoying this greatly.
I like arm wings better than back wings because you can do this.
Yeah, that's right.
Just entertain your friends.
Yes.
Hours of entertainment.
One thing that I can, if you can, drill the nostrils out.
Yeah, drilling the nostrils out helps a lot too for the ventilation. Doesn't sound like it helps much, but it really does. Pickable noses, that's your pro to that.
Not only can you look ridiculous, but so can your fursuit.
Okay, so pimping the charity table here. The cockatoo fursuit that's up for raffle has a pickable nose, and it is perfect. What's that?
Head and tails? They made the black suit?
Yes.
Yeah, that's me. Not me, but they made my suit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They're so nice. I love Truffles. She's like the nicest person. I've been working with her like all day. But yeah, no, so like you could potentially win a fursuit head, a really high quality fursuit head for like $5. So do that. And it goes to
things.
the birds. The charity's a bird charity. They have birds in the dealer's den that you can pet. Go pet the birds and tell them they're pretty, because they are. And then one will bark at you because it barks.
Yeah, I love that. I just like enjoy sitting in the and I was like, I saw it flare up and just start barking at people, and
It
I'm
was
like, I'm in
barking at
love.
a dog fursuiter.
Yes.
It was the funniest. I was sitting
Yes,
right
good.
next to it. It's like barking. I'm like, what are you doing? And his whole body. I'm like, oh my god. Apparently the Chihuahua taught it that.
Of course, a Chihuahua would teach a bird how to bark. Chihuahuas. Yeah, you're just gonna constantly see me go back. It's like, yeah.
Worst comes to worst, we can end the panel early. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? Otherwise, we're ending this gig. We were underprepared and overwhelmed.
Well, Red Beagle is doing another panel tomorrow, so if we didn't cover anything, like, for sure check them out, because they are also professional fursuiters. They can probably answer a fair bit of questions that you might have.
10 a.m., stage 3. Don't ask why I remember that.
I don't know why they gave them the small stage and us the big one. I think
Yeah,
it should
like
have been
the
in
popular
reverse, to
should
be
have been
perfectly
reversed.
honest with you.
Yeah.
Right now, we ain't nobody.
You'll get there.
Someday, ideally. All right, well, I'm leaving now.
We're gonna go
Well,
talk
bye.
about-
If you have any questions, see you at a center booth. Oh, no!
I want to talk about...
Silver Gatoman, he bought me a coffee. Silver Gatoman, here is the song for thee. He likes to video all the panels at the cons. You should go and watch them whether they are short or long. Silver Gatoman, you video that's not a jibe. All of you go to his YouTube channel and like and subscribe.